I was a gangster, everybody knew who Ben Azoulay was. Ben Azoulay wasn't just a name, I turned it into a statement.
I was a Marine, I did real shit. I guarantee you've never had somebody in your place like this.
John Jones. Would I fight him? Yes. Stand up with John Jones? I'll destroy him.
Even if we went to me against all three of you guys, everybody's going to sleep.
Real eyes, always realize real lies.
A bit rich, coming from the world's biggest bullshit dispensary.
Run away, I've got to get away from the pain.
Oh shit, here we go again.
If you've ever visited the alpha male universe, then there's a high chance that you know who this man is.
I have a $10 million home. I have a Rolls Royce. I have muscles. I have millions of dollars in the bank, in crypto, and in real estate. I do whatever I want, whenever I want.
Ah yes, humble as always. Has been Bullshito Azoulay, the man who Jesus drew inspiration.
I walk this earth like a god.
Kinda like this guy over here. But instead of ruling over a realm, the only subjects this idiot rules over is lies.
You came in too buff. You came in too shredded. This is an NPC show. It's not the Olympia.
But from my dad's side, I have an uncle that is in prison that nobody knows about. I've never even shared his name.
He's the biggest gangster in Israel.
The lady, when I pass the security, she starts tickling my stomach and she's like, oh my god, you're like the sexiest guy I've ever seen.
Last time on Dragon Ball Z, I roasted this idiot for being a delusional moron. And while that video was pretty raw, I feel like I got my point across pretty well. Why then am I bringing him up once again? Simple. Despite all the criticism levied against him, Ben here never seems to learn his lesson.
I would hit my shins with a hammer all fucking day.
All day.
Yes. Wait, what? It's already self-defense, is it? It's just self-harm.
Fucking Goober here is confusing microfractures for microfractions.
The wannabe king here has just made some astoundingly goofy comments where he has stated that he could get hundreds of women if he wanted, and he could have his very own army of women.
This guy's still living in fantasy land. So as Holy here thought a good idea for a video was to speak on the Epstein files.
3 million Epstein files were just released. You know what the crazy thing about that is? Is that every single powerful man on the planet was either on the list in the island or on his way there, except me. How did they forget about me?
Which for Ben is a wild thing to talk about, given his history.
You guys remember how I exposed him and his fucked up brother's dark past and what they did to that little girl.
Talk about pots calling kettles black. Ben here's probably just mad he didn't get invited to the island. Where's my invite, Jeffrey? Where's my fucking invite? Funnily enough, he actually referenced not being invited on that dumb little video of his.
How did they forget about me?
And that is fucking hilarious, cause I made that joke before I even watched the clip, which makes me question how much of this was actually a joke and how much of it was just an educated guess.
I swear to God, I used to drive down the street, see a black guy, throw him a banana.
Hey Ben, you want a better joke?
I'm Ben motherfucking Azoulay.
Wait, no, scratch that. The biggest joke is that you were born in the first place. Shit, maybe that was a little too dark. Maybe I went a bit too far.
A few moments later.
Having reflected a little bit, I feel like my last joke was just a little too mean-spirited.
I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody.
Psych. Did you really expect me to feel sorry for this guy? A man that not only talks absolute bullshit online, but was previously convicted for sexually assaulting a minor?
State of Florida has asked us to disclose our sexual crimes to you.
Get the fuck out of here with that. He gets no sympathy from me. Speaking of sympathy, he probably didn't have much of that in his covert operations.
I told you, I worked in counterterrorism for over a decade. There's a lot of people out there that would say, now that's where I'm calling bullshit. That's fine. I'm not doubting you. I always give everyone the benefit of the doubt. Yeah, I don't care. But if I were to question it, I would say, well, wait a minute. At 17, you were homeless. At 18, 19, you were cleaning carpets. Then you got into telemarketing. Then you went, then you started doing real estate. And you started investing here and there. And that was only 10 years ago. So when was the counterterrorism? Yeah. And who is it for?
It's so great that this guy is calling him out on his bullshit, because that's exactly what it is. It's just bullshit. And that's an example of exactly what we need to do to weed out idiots like Ben. Because if shit like this goes unchecked, then these alphas start believing in their own hype. And it's even worse if people actually start agreeing with them.
Holy
fuck. When did you buy?
A long time ago. So
That's a lot of fucking money.
I think that they need to be brought back to reality, the same way Ned Stark was in Game of Thrones. It's been over 15 years and that shit still hurts. Needless to say, the King of Liars earns his crown. Cause who the fuck is gonna believe that Ben was part of a counter-terrorist unit? He can't provide any proof that he was, and when somebody calls him out on it, he just says, I can't discuss it, classified.
But you had to be with somebody. Yeah, but can't talk about who I was with. Come on.
Yeah, fucking right you were. Fucking bullshit. I love how he just expects people to believe all this shit with no receipts. But when proof is given with receipts, he then tries to backtrack and manipulate the narrative.
I'm probably the best fighter in the world. And if there is a fighter
who could maybe get in the ring with me and win, that'll be somebody like John Jones.
No one else could beat me.
I walk into a place, you see me. Yeah. You feel the energy. I walk in with power. As a child, I was literally diagnosed as somebody that's fearless.
The delusion here is very real, guys. The way Ben's talking here makes it sound like he's a walking natural disaster. Like he's fucking Superman or something. Talking about being better than any other fighter on the planet except John Jones. Maybe. Yet, he won't get in the ring with fellow alpha male Ali Sobe without substantial financial incentive. If you can tussle with Bones, Benjamin, then you can absolutely dog walk Ali. So why all the dodging? Something doesn't quite add up here. It's almost like none of what you say is true at all. Big spoiler, huh? I'll tell you guys exactly why he won't take the fight. And no, it's not Mr. Lion Ali himself, because he seems pretty fucking keen.
I don't give a who you are.
Ali, you're a nice guy.
What the f you gonna do? Hash it off right now.
This dude hates Ben more than we do. No. It's far simpler than that. Ben just doesn't want to expose himself as a fraud. The guy doesn't want to make the same mistake that Andrew Tate made. That's essentially the whole point of my video. It's not to point out inaccuracies, because inaccuracies would imply that there's actually an element of truth to this. But with As Holy here, it's like truth just left a timeline, or just got in the way of his facts. If, for whatever reason, you're one of the 2 people that watched my previous video on Mr. Benjamin, you'll recall that I called him an r/that happened, which is a statement that I fully stand by even now. I think everything Ben's doing, it's gotta be satire at this point, right? He can't actually be serious on the things that he says, can he? Oh, fucking hope not. If he really believes all the stuff that he says, then there's only one place that he needs to go. Look, if by some miracle this all turns out to be true, then I'll retract my objections, except for the sexual assault allegations. But they're not really allegations because he was convicted of the crime.
Did a lot of hard work to get here.
And to become the most famous person on the planet. I've had over 50 billion views.
I go viral. Everywhere I go, people know me. If I walk right now down at the hotels, people recognize me. People take pictures with me.
I do oh so love how much he claims to be famous, while simultaneously saying this.
I'm not an Instagrammer. I'm not an influencer. I'm not a social media guy.
And has social stats like these. Somebody's buying subs. It's pretty telling that the man has over 400,000 subscribers, yet his latest video only has about 1,200 views as of this recording. And a bit of quick math will tell you that that's about a 0.25% click-through rate, assuming that all these subs are even real. And to make things even worse, literally every comment is on this guy's ass, roasting him in his own video. The only engagement the guy gets is hate. This, my friends, is what happens when your whole backstory is complete fiction made up in your head. This asshole stepped through that magical wardrobe and never left. And even if this guy made all that money that he claims to have on his own, nobody would respect him anyway. In fact, at this stage, the guy could solve world hunger or cure cancers, and everybody would still hate him. Because he's just a clown that needs to fuck off back to the circus. But that'll do it from me, guys. What are your guys' thoughts on Mr. Azoulay? The guy who changes his backstory every 10 seconds. Do you like him? Do you hate him? Do you not care? Let me know. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Anyways, stay cool, stay sexy, Rosie out. Rose out.